started to see which one can be the most retarded. Tinfoil haters, it's time to start the show. Tinfoil haters, it's time to start the show. Tinfoil haters, don't tell them what to say. Tinfoil haters are here to save the day. And Sammy are about to get started to see which one can be the most retarded. Tinfoil haters, it's time to start the show. Tinfoil haters, it's time to start the show.
Welcome back to another episode of Tinfoil Haters. How are all you vital idols doing? Unfortunately, no Cindy today. I do apologize. She is feeling a little bit under the weather, so she will, of course, be back. She's pretty much becoming a permanent part of the show, so we might be doing the three of us plus guests going forward. But we got, for old time's sake, the way the show started, me and Sammy. Speaking of my beautiful co-host, my man, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. This is going to be a good one today. I'm excited.
Oh, me too. This is honestly one of those that we might have to do like a follow-up on later. There is so much information to cover when it comes to HARP, government weather control, the whole nine. And even if we do go longer today, which I'm not opposed to doing, I would love to do, depending on how long we get through all the info. There's still always going to be so much more because this is a rabbit hole. In fact, this is a rabbit hole that friend of the channel, Emperor Goodwin, sent me down a second rabbit hole that I didn't even have time to finish, so we're going to explore together live later on. But yeah, before any of that, what do you say we say hi to these beautiful bastards watching right now?
Alrighty.
First things first, pre-stream legend Jake Martin for a 5-banger says HARP, nice, finally covering the real conspiracy. Hebrews always antagonizing reasonable people. I won't lie. I saw that prior to the show, and it did make me laugh out loud. That was good, Jake. Thank you so much. Let's get you your clips, son.
You know what? You just made the list. Oh, no.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, you love to see it. Who else we got in here? We got Leonardo Gostal, next to the best model in the whole damn land. How you doing? Paul Byersmith is in the chat. Thank you so much. Of course, Jake, we got him. Let's see who else is in here. The lovely Sherry is here. How you doing, Sherry? Completely appreciate you. BioT Wolf 19 says, "Hail, Piranha Pout in the house." How you doing, Piranha Pout? And lurking while cleaning, back in a bit. I like the stream, and you absolutely should like the stream. I do agree with this sentiment. Let's see who else we got. That might be everybody for now. No, Philip Morgan is here as well. Thank you so much, brother. And without further ado, why don't we just get into it? Let's get conspiratorial. Actually, say conspiratorial, but this is one that I do 100% believe in. In fact, this is very hard to debunk. Like this is very hard to debunk for a lot of reasons. But first of all, what do you know about HARP? Do you know anything? Have you heard of HARP?
Yeah, so it's like, I can't remember what it stands for. It's like high frequency something, but yeah, it's basically
high frequency active auroral research program.
Say that 5 times fast, but yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, so yeah, it's supposed to do something with like the ions in the air and manipulate it. And just, not for nothing, there is actual, like, when I say actual, I do believe in things like this, but there are noted activities of like climate, like climate control, like cloud seeding, stuff like that. So I don't put it past any of these government assholes.
I mean, I completely agree with you. And as far as also, it's not just HARP. Like you said, there's other versions of this. If I recall, even in Vietnam, the U.S. And by the way, this is not this is not a conspiracy theory. Like, this is open. This is admitted. The government talked about this. The government was able to manipulate monsoon season in Vietnam to make it last longer. I don't know how they did it. That's like a whole other rabbit hole I'd have to go down. But yes, they were able to do some sort of cloud manipulation to extend monsoon season. And Vietnam was what, the 60s? Like,
Yeah.
hey, Harwood Nats, how you doing, girlie? Appreciate you. Is your stream happening tonight? Are we gonna raid you when all is said and done? Let me know. And Soul Assassin's here. What up, Soul Assassin? Thank you. But yeah, no, you're right. This, like, don't now. The extent of how much they can manipulate the ionosphere, the whole nine. Oh, good. Harwood Nads is streaming. Well, then we will be raiding you when this show is over. Bingo, bango, bongo. But yes, this is real. Like, no matter how you want to slice it, the weather control aspect of this actually is real. It's to what extent can they do it seems to be the question.
Well, another aspect of this is, there's it's been posed that we can cause earthquakes. Like, I don't know if I believe that. That's a little.
We're gonna talk about that. You're right. That is another thing posed about HAARP. See, this might be the most I think we've known about the subject in a while. It's gonna be awesome. Also, Mage Wolf, how you doing, brother? Truly appreciate it. Retro Prater Mind, how you doing? I think I've heard of the hum of a harp before. So yeah, let's get into some basic pre-intro information. So HARP is an IRI, which again, HARP itself stands for, and I do, like you said, say that 5 times fast. High frequency active auroral research program. So yes, that's a lot. But HARP is an IRI, and an IRI is an ionospheric radiation instrument. So basically, a device that can manipulate the ionosphere, and the ionosphere is a high atmospheric position. Is a high atmosphere, a higher up section of the atmosphere, I should say. If I recall, stretching from like 56 miles above Earth to like 230 miles above the surface of the Earth. So it's very large, but it's very thin, which is why it's quote unquote easy to manipulate, because it's not dense in terms of the particles and things to that effect. Wasn't the movie The Core about an earthquake weapon that messed up the world? I've not seen The Core since it came out. It came out at like around the same time as Deep Impact, if I recall. And the Core was like supposedly really scientifically accurate, but I would have to rewatch it. I actually don't know. Did you see The Core? Was it good? Do you remember? It was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say it has been a long time since I've even heard the name of that movie. But
I just remember near the beginning. Isn't The Core the one where like all the crows and birds are dropping dead from the sky because like the Earth's magnetosphere gets messed up? There was 2 movies that came out around the same time that one was really scientifically accurate and one wasn't. I don't remember which was which.
I'll have to look into it. Like I said, it has been so no, it wasn't. All right.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking of the other one, which fair enough. I appreciate your Retro Prater Mind. Severe's Fish, I'm here, but really busy at work, so I can't chat today besides this one. Okay, work comes first. Just appreciate you being here.
Yes.
But yes, so it's an IRI, it is an ionospheric radiation instrument. And this is not the first of its kind. These labs, like I said, exist all over the world. In fact, there's a similar lab in Dubai, which was able to shoot electricity into clouds in the desert to create rain. Like, as a thing that they were able to do in Dubai. They made it rain in a desert due to scientific technology and shooting lightning into fucking clouds. The core, the Earth's crust, core stops spinning, and they have to travel down there to detonate nuclear weapons. Okay, gotcha. That's the core. So maybe I was thinking Deep Impact. I'm not. Again, they both came out around the same time. 30 to 600 miles. Thank you. I said like 200 or something. So 30 to 600 miles. Much appreciated, Paul. Always want fact checks on these, especially since we're getting so conspiratorial. We want to make sure all the correct information is correct. But yeah, and it started yes, HARP is real, 100%. It's to what extent can they do what they're doing. But yes, HARP is real. What I didn't know about this until doing the research is guess where all of this technology and these theories originate from?
I have no idea. I'm assuming, theory. It has to be at like some prestigious college or something, right? No.
Nope. It's a person that's probably going to come up a lot in the future just when we do these episodes.
Tesla.
Fucking Tesla. All roads lead back to Tesla. So after his death, when his all of his research and whatnot was taken by the U.S. government. Yep. Yeah. Again, good one, got it. Yep. Nikola Tesla, 100%. So all this technology is at least based on his research. Now, he probably didn't have the capabilities to do, obviously, what they were doing in the 70s and whatnot when this was first getting off the ground. But yeah, all roads lead back to Tesla. So Bernard Eastland is a scientist, and he filed a patent for HARP. And the patent was specifically for ionosphere manipulation technology. And in his patent, by the way, this patent is public document. I was gonna pull it up. I still might be able to pull it up. I've got so many tabs. I wasn't able to get to that one. But this patent's public document, so you can see it. It details how this can be used for as a weapon for the government, for things like stopping missiles, interfering with communications, manipulating the weather, mind control. Sort of. There's a caveat to the mind control part, but even that is technically real, depending on what you want to define as mind control.
Was there an MK Ultra relation somehow, or
no, a different kind of mind control? But yeah. Oh man, I can't believe we haven't done MK Ultra yet. We're definitely gonna have to do MK Ultra at one point. Loomis Namus is here. LMA saying me, y'all. I'm late, but I'm here. You're not super late. We're only 10 minutes in. And the patents show the intended effects for things like destroying missiles, influencing long-range communications, modify the weather. So there's this company called ARCO, ARCO. They existed in Alaska, and they controlled just acres and acres of natural gas deposits and resources. But they couldn't sell it because it's fucking Alaska, and this is like the 70s. Nobody gives a shit. So they made a deal with Eastland to do the initial funding of his research if the compound and facility that's built exclusively uses them for all the power needs. So it didn't start off as a military, at least the original building didn't start off as a military compound, but because the funding of the research didn't. But the military and them quickly get involved with the Navy, the Air Force, and DARPA investing in hundreds of millions of dollars.
really?
This goes deep. And then to jump ahead to near the end of the story, and then we're going to start covering all the nitty-gritty stuff in between. Relatively recently, I believe in 2012, I'll get the exact date in a moment. HARP was handed over to the Alaskan Institute. The U.S. government pulled out and said, the Alaska Institute Fairbanks, the government pulled out, said, no, we're done. We don't need this anymore. This was always purely a research facility. It was never about weapons. We've learned all we can. So now we're going to make it we're donating it to a college. What the government doesn't really tell you, other employees have come out and said this, is the government isn't here anymore, but they also took all the high-tech stuff with them, all the most dangerous stuff. So yeah, we can give tours, we can still do research with HARP and everything, but all the really good stuff Uncle Sam took with him. What a shock.
Feels like fairly classic him.
Yep. Got the information to build other weather weapons. So let's get in. First, we're going to go to the actual website for University of Alaska Fairbanks and see what they have to say about what HARP is. Because, of course, these guys can be trusted, right? We can trust what they have to say. So this is their fact. Their frequently asked question. What is HARP? The high-frequency active auroral research program is the world's most capable high-power, high-frequency HF transmitter to study the ionosphere. Principal instrument of the Ionic Research Instrument, a phased array, 180 HF cross-dipole. My apologies, guys. Antenna is spread across 33 acres and capable of radiating 3.6 megawatts into the upper atmosphere and ionosphere. Transmit frequencies are selectable in the range of 2.7 to 10 megahertz. And since the antennas form a sophisticated phased array, the transmitted beam can take many shapes, be scanned over a wide angular range, and multiple beams can be formed. The facility uses 30 transmitter shelters, each with 6 pairs of 10 kilowatt transmitters to achieve 3.6 megawatt transmit power. Now,
I understood most of those words.
Now, environmental effects. Are there long-term effects of ionosphere heating? No, since the ionosphere is inherently a turbulent medium that is both being stirred up and renewed by the sun, artificially induced effects are quickly obliterated, depending on the height in the ionosphere where the effects are originally produced. These effects are no longer detectable after times ranging from less than a second to 10 minutes. A good analogy of this process is dropping a stone into a fast-moving stream. The ripples caused by the stone are quickly lost in the rapidly moving water, completely undetectable a little further downstream. A UAF Geophysical Institute scientist compared HARP to putting an immersion heater in the Yukon River. Here's the good part. Can HARP control or manipulate the weather? Of course, they say no. Do you believe the website when they tell you no?
No. We've already disproven, or we've already proven that they can. I've already said there's respected methods. So to leave it out entirely, no, it's incorrect.
So Paul is asking a question, and yes, Emperor Goodwin hit the nail on the head. Why was Alaska chosen? Remote location or to study in? Maybe the air is different. And yeah, ionosphere is higher energy towards the Arctic. So is that you've got the Aurora Borealis or Australia. Yeah, the Aurora Borealis, for example, could be comes from the ionosphere. There was already studies showing how the auroras can affect the weather. So it was sort of a logical step of. It's very easily accessible. It's higher energy. Plus, again, they needed a large area to operate in, and there was the company that had the natural gas deposits there. So two things lined up great. Natural gas was already there, as well as great access to the ionosphere. So, and of course it can. Yes. Farsa says, "What you harping on?" That was good. I appreciate that. But yes, can it manipulate the weather? No. Radio waves and the frequency ranges that HARP transmits are not absorbed into either troposphere or stratosphere, the two levels of the atmosphere that produce Earth's weather. Since there is no interaction, there is no way to control the weather. This is bullshit. They are openly lying on their website because, yes, while it does not enter the troposphere or the stratosphere, we've actually proven that the ionosphere has, which is high atmosphere, has effects on low atmosphere weather, and actually that low atmosphere weather can have effects on the ionosphere. Again, this exists naturally. It exists in nature with the aurora or the Aurora Borealis. I assume Australis as well. I'm not sure. So yeah, it doesn't matter if the HARP itself doesn't tap into the stratosphere or the troposphere. That's kind of the whole point, is using the ionosphere to manipulate what's going on in the troposphere and stratosphere. So this is a lie by omission. Blunt, Disney did a movie on how they made a machine small that could control the weather. I've not heard of that, to my knowledge, at least. The HARP system is basically a large radio transmitter. Radio waves interact with electrical charges and currents, do not significantly interact with the troposphere. Further, if the ionosphere storms caused by the sun itself don't affect the surface weather, but they can. There's no chance that HARP can either. Electromagnetic interactions only occur the near vacuum of rarefield but electrically charged region of the atmosphere above 60 to 80 kilometers, a little over 45 miles, known as the ionosphere. The ionosphere is created and continuously replenished by the sun's. We get it. However, can you do it in short bursts, like you said earlier? It seems like you can. Now,
well, also, I'm looking at this now. That Vietnam operation you're talking about was called Operation Popeye.
Operation Popeye. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I knew there was a name for it and couldn't remember it. Thank you. No, neuroscience is a complex field of study carried out by medical professionals, not scientists and researchers at HARP. Well, again, mind control is a very loose way to phrase it, but is it possible? It's not even that it's possible. It's something that can be done. You can manipulate people's mind with radio frequencies at certain hertz, but it's not like go make me a sandwich and they zombify and have to do it. It's things like they start feeling
mood
sick.
Alteration.
Yes, exactly. So it's not really control so much as it is just biological alteration temporarily. They're spinning it like, well, we can stop hurricanes and other deadly weather when they're the one causing them. Well, I think they're spinning it as they can't do either when they are. Yes, you're right. That's 100% what they're doing. Can HARP create chemtrails? Now, I don't know enough about chemtrails. I've never heard in all these conspiracies about HARP and chemtrails. I don't know the correlation between them. So obviously they're going to say no, but I don't know enough about this one to back it up.
Yeah, I actually never heard that those two were related.
Yeah, same. No, this theory suggests in part that constraints from behind aircraft or rare cloud formations are chemical and or biological agents being released on the general public. This is not true. Contrails are produced by condensation from the exhaust of jet engines, just as water coming from your car's tailpipe condenses to produce ice fog in a cold Alaskan winter morning. Water from jet engines exhaust condenses the very cold upper atmosphere. HAARP doesn't produce water in the atmosphere, has no capability to release gases or liquids, and does not enter it with existing water and clouds. Honestly, with as little as I know about chemtrails, this one I am inclined to believe they are being honest about. I don't think there'd be any correlation between chemtrails and radio waves. Zax, how you doing, my man with a plan? And Senator Stalkers here. Thank you so much. Wine and Bly as well. Getting all y'all showing up for us to wax philosophical about the government controlling the weather. But yes, so it seems like their website is very eager to just say, hey, we're not anything nefarious. But by the same token, you might not be anymore because you're not being ran by the military industrial complex. Like, this could actually all be true. Maybe they don't do any of this anymore because the military is the one in control anymore.
Yeah. There's been plenty of things that the government has experimented with and then has since dropped. I mean, MK Ultra is a great example where, they denied it for years and years and years. And then when it finally came out, they're like, oh yeah, we did that. But, we don't do it anymore. And we're like, oh, okay. That makes it better.
Well, yeah. And MK Ultra, while people knew about it and it was being talked about in the 70s and 80s and things like that, it didn't get officially declassified until I believe 2006 or 2013 or something. It was really, really recently that MK Ultra was officially declassified. But speaking of things being declassified, there is so I said maybe you're not doing this anymore, things to that effect. There's a caveat to that. You know what the Freedom of Information Act is, I assume?
Oh, FOIA? Yeah. I have to deal with them at work all the time.
Oh, yeah, of course, because I completely forgot. So, yes, so you're very familiar with the product. Did you know that even to this day, nearly all Freedom of Information requests about HARP, flat out denied, or they are granted, are heavily redacted? If it wasn't a military operation based in weaponry, why would you deny almost everybody, or when they're granted, heavily redact them?
Yeah, and kind of eliminates the point of freedom of information if you're going to send a bunch of redacted stuff back. So, I love it's in the veil of transparency when really they're not. Yeah.
So that's actually, I love that you use the word transparency. When the government gave HARP to the University of Alaska Fairbanks, that's what they claimed they were doing. This is an effort to be more transparent with the public. It's better that it be in the hands of a university and not us. This is a move towards government transparency. Bullshit.
Yep. No, that's not true.
I mean, when has the government ever actually been transparent with us? I mean, even the fucking Epstein list that just recently came out when we were begging for transparency was full on bunk. Now the JFK stuff, that's pretty cool. However, that's 18,000 pages or whatever, and it's going to be very difficult to sift through. It seems like that story is dead. It happened, a week or two ago. People talked about it for 2 days, then nothing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think there was the explosive information that. Now, granted, I haven't read all 1,800 pages either, but I people were trying to say that Israel was involved, and it appeared to be a joint operation between a bunch of different government agencies.
Yeah, as well as the mob, and I've got them all saved on my computer. I've sifted through them, but I haven't gone really in depth with it. I plan to, just super busy, but yeah, I've gone through and just tried to find glimpses of things, but since it's not searchable, you can't F3 key or things to that effect. Very difficult. Also, Hail Sons and Shouts, how you doing? Shrapnel, don't know if I said hi to you. Hail you as well. Thank you for showing up. I think we said hi to Farthead. Just want to make sure.
Also, we have to issue an apology to the family of Lee Harvey Oswald, right? That's
Is that a thing, really?
No, we should, right? It was it sounded like he was totally exonerated in this.
I would have to do more research, but if that's the case, then yeah. Or did he even have any family? I don't know.
I think he had he had a wife and daughter for sure.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he did marry a girl when he went to either Russia or Thailand or whatever it was. It was Russia, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was Russia.
The CIA asked for the only redactions to be mentions of Israel. I did hear that. Yeah. Good thing there's no clandestine organization of unelected officials who have vested interest in bringing about a globalist utopia, or else they might want to manipulate the weather to seize control. Comments like that make this show just the absolute best.
Absolutely.
But no, another thing that triggers my, just sort of conspiratorial mind about HARP is when you do a simple Google search. So I just simply typed in, what is HARP weather control? Obviously, you get the HARP website, frequently asked questions, fact checking, debunking weather modification claims. Just more information on HARP. You get the Wikipedia page. Conspiracy theories. Why is Project HARP so controversial? HARP research conspiracies, misunderstandings. Fact check. HARP did not modify weather to cause floods. So all this stuff.
It's on Reuters, so you know it's true.
But when you go to DuckDuckGo and type in the same question, gives you the high frequency weather control. Gives the Wikipedia page, their own website. But then the results are completely different. These towers control the world's weather. HARP research tools don't control the weather. It's actually giving you a mix of both sides. Fact check, Doppler, HARP did not push. Controlling weather, the limitations of the HARP conspiracy. Conspiracy theories around HARP hurricane creation are false. What is HARP? Iowa Caucus's weather control conspiracy theories. Nearly 3 decades on, chemtrail HARP. So like you're getting a much more varied sense of results on DuckDuckGo. So when you go to Google, Google's clearly obviously manipulating, like they have an agenda. Here's all it's fake shit first. And then DuckDuckGo is like, I could go either way. Just here's some results. So yeah, anytime Google shows you everything all the same in a row, and another browser, I usually use DuckDuckGo, but another browser doesn't. It's like, all right, clearly the world's largest search engine, this glorified ad revenue company, is manipulating things.
Yeah, I mean, they've always done that, and I don't know. Everyone
Chase
seems to be fine with it.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying everyone seems to be fine with it. I was like, there's been plenty of times where it's been well documented that Google buries things, and I don't know. We all just keep using it.
Well, Chad says the thing is they literally did cloud seeding that caused the massive floods in the United Arab Emirates a year ago. So it would be dumb to think that our government isn't doing the same. I think actually we talked about that early in the show, didn't we?
Yeah. So cloud seeding. So we did that specifically in Vietnam in Project Popeye, Operation Popeye.
Operation Popeye, yeah. Also, what up, EB? Appreciate seeing you here. How you doing? Whether it's nefarious or not is up for debate. Well, it's also depending on whose side you're on. Like, if this is nefarious for, like, if you're China or Russia, America controlling the weather probably seems pretty nefarious. If you're American and you say, fuck China, fuck Russia, let's give them fucking hurricanes, it doesn't seem nefarious at all. It seems like we're fucking winning because we're number one. But yeah, it probably definitely depends. Cloud seeding was being done back in 1945. Chemtrails can be a part of that. Exactly, LMA. Yeah, so maybe we'll do a chemtrails episode. I don't know enough about chemtrails. That's one of those conspiracies that I never really learned about. So I'd have to do research before I comment too much on it. I do come into this with a healthy bit of skepticism as well as acceptance to what could be real. Now, this again, I 100% believe in for the most part. I would say I'm like 85-90% on board with a lot of the HARP stuff.
Well, enough people, and I've seen enough things mention about chemtrails where there is some sort of correlation that I didn't know about, because I'm even looking at the Wikipedia page for HARP, and chemtrails keep coming up in the conspiracy theory part.
Interesting. All right. Well, I'll have to. We'll definitely have to look more into that, because again, I will probably want to do, if you're cool with it, a follow up on this, because there is such a rabbit hole. And then Jay Martin says, as a rule of thumb, if the powers that can be do it, they're doing that shit. Agreed. Then EB coming in, becoming a Words of Paradise member, a Vital Idol, all on his own. EB, thank you so much. This is for you.
I will never not enjoy that.
I know, right? Me too. It's so great, because you want to know how I found that?
How?
Way before me and Moxie were ever friends. Like, I don't think we ever even streamed together at this point. I was just like following her on ex back when she was like still known as Waifu-Con or whatnot. She posted that like months into me ever just being on YouTube. I know she was, and I bookmarked it. And when I was trying to come up with clips for the channel, I was like, somewhere way back in my bookmarks, I have a video of a bird falling. I should go get that. And so I scrolled for ages because my bookmark's so long. And so I get back to almost 2 years ago, bookmark wise, like, holy shit, Moxie's the one that posted this. We didn't even know each other at the time. It was just a cool little happenstance of that.
Winky dink.
I'll remember not all contrails are chemtrails. See, I didn't even know that there was a difference between contrails and chemtrails.
Neither did I. I always thought people just that was the way that they said it.
Yeah, I thought it was a colloquial thing. Exactly. That bird would kick my ass and my tacos share with him. That's so great. All right, so I want to go over a video that I've not seen yet. This is the rabbit hole that Goodwin sent me down. I did a little bit of research. Shit was getting weird. We were about to start the show, so I didn't have time. So I thought, you know what? Let's learn about this portion together. So this video is called The Super Gun Affair, Tales from the Bottle, and it's about a man named I am blanking on his name, Gerald Bull. Now, the reason I'm interested with this is I'm not going to share the message on screen. I don't want to dox anyone. I don't want to share DMs, but I'm going to read to you exactly what Goodwin sent me, because this is how you get a conspiracy theorist riled up. If you haven't done so, check out Gerald Bull. He was involved with HARP. He said, I'll look him up when I'm done cooking dinner. Thanks. He goes, his life gets more interesting after HARP, and then it ends rather suddenly. And that's all Goodwin said. So that's all I really know, minus the brief research I did.
And that's pretty classic Goodwin as well.
That's
So
very classic Goodwin. So let's watch this video. It's only 8 minutes long. Let me know when you want to pause and make commentary. Yeah, the Super Gun Affair. Let's do it.
This video is sponsored by NordVPN. Today I will tell you a tale of real-life events that sound like they were lifted from a James Bond plot. It's a story about experimental weapons, international arms deals, sabotage, and more. Our story begins with Canadian Gerald Bull. Receiving a PhD in aeronautical engineering at age 23, Bull...
Already don't believe this. There must be a conspiracy theory. Canadians can't be doctors. They're not smart enough.
I agree.
Debunked. Classified. Is wrapped. Sorry, Goodwin, you're wrong.
Bull had a passion for ballistics research. Working with the Canadian and US governments in the 60s, Bull became a leading expert in artillery, researching supergun technology. A supergun is essentially a big massive gun used for firing projectiles at unusually high velocities or long distances. Initially, Bull...
Isn't this what was it called? The Nazis did it, like the Blitzkrieg. They had like the Big Bertha or whatever with the big Bertha
they had a big ass fucking gun too. I can't remember what it was.
I think it was literally called the Big Bertha. But someone in the chat who knows more about history, let me know. Like fact check me.
Bull's research centered around using superguns in place of more expensive wind tunnels, firing scale models short distances at supersonic speeds, and studying their aerodynamics. Of course, he was working with the government, so his research soon turned to using the technology to blow things up and kill and maim people, but Bull had developed...
Again, when the government invests any amount of money into scientific research, it will always go back to making weapons. Like if you're a scientist, this is classic. I'm pretty sure they tried to do this with even Einstein's research. They tried to fucking weaponize that.
Yeah.
If you're a scientist and you're getting money from the government, they're turning that shit into a fucking weapon, 100% every time.
Yeah, besides some very specific areas in like Project Paperclip, where a lot of those guys went to NASA, but even then, they were exploring space to forward their military functions. So
yeah, exactly. They were doing it as a way to basically show that we are mightier than Russia at that point. Like, and so even if it's violence, we're not making a weapon. It's basically a dick waving contest to show that we are the superior power. Yes. Don't fuck with us. Also, what up, Quillbacks? Nice to see you. How you doing, bud? Might have actually been impressive. Why couldn't history class in school taught this? Yeah, I know, right? I had never heard of this dude. This is fucking wild. It's gonna get crazier.
developed a keen interest in superguns and their untested potential for launching satellites into orbit. As silly as it may sound to launch things into space from a big cannon, I'm pretty sure Wile E. Coyote has tried this a few times with little success. Theoretically, firing a satellite into orbit with a supergun would be a lot more efficient than using conventional rockets. Sending something into space conventionally requires the use.
Vex, how you doing, girlie? Says, is this an image of scientists pulling a massive butt plug out of Leonardo? Oh, fuck you. I should have read this in advance. I saw Vex. I was like, I'm happy to see you here. Let's read this.
I read it, and then I was like, why are you choosing to read this?
I see sexy Vexy, and I'm like, all right, let's say hi. It's always gonna be something about me being a fucking homo, and yet I keep doing it. I'm like,
friend of the channel.
Friend of the channel. She will be on at some point in the future to talk about adrenochrome, and that's gonna be a great show. Just schedules are difficult to align, but yes, sometime in the future, Vexy will be one of our guests. Let's keep going.
Of multi-staged rockets, which of course are very heavy, requiring even more energy to lift, and then they just break away anyways, creating a lot of waste. By using a space gun, you could just fire the object itself and then keep reusing the gun. Even if you can't reach orbit with the object alone, you can fire it attached to a much smaller rocket that will assist its launch, and this would be much cheaper than conventional rocket launches. The closest.
This all does go back to HARP, by the way. Just like this is a build up and whatnot, because you guys wonder why are they talking about fucking rockets when we're doing a HARP episode. Just wait. Just wait.
This Bull got to realizing his space gun dream was Project HARP, or High Altitude Research Program. Yeah. Beginning in 1961, Project HARP was a joint venture between the US and Canadian Departments of Defense to study the ballistics of atmospheric re-entry vehicles. Using the HARP gun, Bull was able to fire weather probes into suborbit at 2 kilometers per second, which...
Now note, this is a different HARP. The High Altitude Research Project, 1A, different HARP.
Is roughly equivalent to what you could achieve with the first couple of stages of a conventional rocket. Sadly, Bull wasn't able to get anything into orbit with HARP before the project lost funding in 1967. Sadly, he couldn't find anyone else who was willing to fund his research in superguns either. So, to make some money, he founded his own company, the Space Research Corporation, and began developing and selling weaponry to state governments. His work...
I mean, if you ain't gonna fucking work for him, you're gonna be the middleman for him. Yo, yep. Janet Bananas here. How you doing, you beautiful woman? Appreciate you. Now you have to look in the manhole cover we shot in the atmosphere, basically at light speed.
Earned him an American citizenship and also a 6-month stay in federal prison in Pennsylvania as one.
You sold us weapons. Thank you. You're a citizen now. Straight to jail.
Yeah.
Like, America.
Silence, dog.
Vex, you've been having trouble getting from Canada to America. Have you considered selling us weapons?
Yeah.
You just gotta go to jail for a little bit. That's
How
all.
are you with super guns?
Yeah, you're right. It is still working for them, but indirectly. Yeah, they're like contracting, yes.
One of the countries he had sold arms to was South Africa, violating a UN arms embargo. After this, Jared Bull moved to Brussels, where he continued to develop and sell arms. In 1981, he was contacted by Iraq's defense secretary, Saddam Hussein. That's how you know the story is bound to have a happy ending. The Iraqis wanted Bull to work on their artillery, but they also showed interest in some sort of space program, which would have enticed Bull. Bull developed a number of artillery pieces for Iraq until in 1988 they gave him $25 million to work on Project Babylon, which would have been their space gun program, on the condition that
Iraqis got space lasers, people. Let's go.
Uh-oh.
No.
That he continued to work on their artillery. Bull readily accepted, finally getting another opportunity to realize his dream of putting something into orbit with a supergun. It's a pretty cool dream, admittedly. A miniature version of the final guns, called Baby Babylon, was created for testing, while construction of parts for 2 Big Babylon guns was started by numerous companies around Europe. The Big Babylon gun was going to be 156 meters in length, weighing 1,500.
156 meters. How much is that in freedom units? A meter is like 3 feet, right? Give or take. A meter's like a yard almost.
I don't know.
I'm
Sounds
pretty
right.
sure if I'm doing my math right off the top of my dome, I'm pretty sure that means the barrel of this gun is like the length of the fucking football field.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, yeah.
like you
Soul
said, a
says
meter,
meters,
3
3
feet.
feet. Paul Byersman says, yep. So, actually longer. Hold on. I think I did the math wrong. I think it would be a football field and a half.
Yeah, that's wild.
Bro, yeah, 500-ish feet. That is insane.
One hell of a fucking gun.
Wow. It's a big ass fucking gun. ABF would
that's
be
gotta-
so
Yeah.
stoked.
It's got to be loud as
100
shit.
tons. It's not known exactly what the guns were going to be used for, but it's speculated that they were going to fire some sort of orbital weapon or an anti-satellite projectile. It's estimated that
So like the giant gun cannon in Final Fantasy VII. Yeah. We making real life Final Fantasy weapons.
Wow.
the cost of sending something into space with these guns was roughly $1,700 per kilogram, whereas NASA estimates it costs them $22,000 per kilogram to launch something with a rocket. Unfortunately, Saddam never got the Big Babylon guns.
Horse Paradise is sponsored by Razor Synapse brand butt plugs. Get your gamer on. Manscaping hurts. And yes, these are the weapons of mass destruction that George W. Bush was so worried about. It just turns out they never got finished. That's my headcanon.
I just like sad Saddam here.
Or maybe that's fortunately. I suppose it depends on how cool you think space guns are versus how much you dislike Saddam Hussein. So what happened? Well, on March 22nd, 1990, Gerald Bull was shot 3 times in the back and twice in the head as he entered his Brussels apartment, and no one knows who did it. Some have linked the Israeli intelligence agency.
Would you be surprised?
No.
Dude is making the fucking the space gun for Iraq. Mossad probably ain't happy. They're like, all right, send in Gal Gadot. Like
we're the only ones who get the space lasers.
Oy vey.
Yeah.
Mossad targeting Bull for his work on Iraq's missile technology. But it could have been any other country that had an issue with Bull's Iraqi partnership, like Iran. Some suspect MI6 or the CIA. Throughout the years, Bull had a vital role in many defense projects with many different governments all around the world.
Look, I'm not usually a blame it on the Jews type of guy, but I think in this case, it was probably the Jews.
Yeah.
Like he was also doing work for Germany earlier, if you guys recall, and I think the Jews probably got beef with them as well. Like there's a bit of a history there. He was kind of working at one point or another for all the people that aren't a fan of the Jews.
So it could have been any of them for any reason. It might even have been Iraq themselves. With Bull dead, work on Project Babylon abruptly
They could have
stopped.
just been like, we're done with you. You know?
Yeah, well, but if his gun wasn't finished yet, I don't think it would have been Iraq themselves, because wouldn't you want him to finish his doomsday weapon before taking him out?
One would expect, but maybe they thought they had gotten.
I'm curious
far
what happened to that $25 million in his bank account. Who gets that?
Yeah.
Jews have corned beef with Germany. Yeah, because they can't have pork beef. Oh wait, corn pork. There it is, corn pork.
There you go.
Components for the Big Babylon guns were seized by British customs, and a political scandal broke out. During their war with Iran, it was prohibited to export arms to Iraq. A court case alleged that the companies that had manufactured the components were covertly exporting them to Iraq in violation of UN resolutions, and that elements of the British government were complicit in letting this happen. The court case collapsed, but you can still see parts of Big Babylon on display in museums around the UK. The Persian Gulf War broke out after this, and Baby Babylon was seized by the UN and destroyed. Since then, we've still...
Okay, I believe it was seized. Do you believe it was destroyed?
No way.
Oh, yeah, I bet they still have this bitch, or at least have replicas or prototypes or whatever. Also,
They could have
This
destroyed
this
it
may have been an
after
internet
they
pit stop
studied it
of
from head to
one.
toe. You know,
What was that?
they could have destroyed it after they studied it from head to toe and got all the secrets out of it. But yeah, they're not really big on just throwing away advanced technology, right? That's not something that a government does.
And Zax, no, this guy is not worse than Grums. I mean, Grums made porn. Okay, like Grums is basically Hitler. Just like he just be Zig Highland all over gamers. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, Grums objectively worse than the Canadian Boom Boom guy. Also, this is a bit of an internet pit stop. Apparently, we did have the wrong harp, but you know what? That's okay. You get a 2 for today, 2 for the price of 1.
Still never had a space gun, and with SpaceX's development of reusable rocket launchers, it seems unlikely we'll be seeing one in the near future. What an unusual lad this Gerald Bull guy was. His decade-spanning dream of developing a space gun leading him to become a leading ballistic missile expert, illegal arms dealing, and eventually his death. Some mad scientist type energy for sure. I suppose it just goes to show how inherently flawed human nature is. We can't even come together to build a gun that shoots things into space. Fucking tragic. And perhaps you too fear assassination. I won't ask under what circumstances.
All right. We took advantage of this guy's video, so I'm going to let his ad read play just because I feel like that's the nice, fair thing to do.
But I understand. The UN has a lot of restrictions and regulations. It's impossible not to break some international laws in the course of your business. Well, worry no more, because you can keep yourself safe and your data private with this video's sponsor, NordVPN. If you use the coupon code CUKESER at nordvpn.com/CUKESER, you can get 70% off a 3-year plan and 1 month entirely free. NordVPN is a VPN service that keeps your internet browsing data encrypted and anonymous, so no one can get their hands on your private information. It also allows you to bypass region-locked content. For example, all the episodes of Father Ted are available on YouTube, but for whatever reason, I am blocked from watching them in Ireland, but not in the States. So using NordVPN, I can connect to a US server and enjoy.
Isn't that great?
So continue your arms deals in peace and pick up NordVPN. Don't forget you get 70% off a 3-year plan and 1 month free by using my coupon code. The links will be available in the description. Thanks and stay safe.
All right, so yeah, a little internet pit stop. Wrong HARP. Realize high altitude research is not the same as the high frequency active auroral research program. That being said, that was a very cool story to learn about. And so getting back to HARP, getting back to weather control. Sammy, at the beginning of the show, you mentioned a specific function of HARP that is oft talked about, but it has to do not with the sky, but with the ground below.
Yes.
Care to reiterate for those that are joining?
Well, there's plenty of people who believe that we have the capability of causing earthquakes, and I'm still kind of on the fence with that one. That's you'd have to have an awful lot of power to cause a tectonic reaction like that. And
that is exactly what some people believe, and in fact, even being covered by NBC, which this is in when was this? It was like 2010, I believe. 2014. So conspiracy theories abound as U.S. military closes HARP. The U.S. Air Force has told Congress it intends to shut down HARP, a controversial Alaska-based research facility that studies the upper atmosphere. The U.S. Air Force has notified Congress that it intends to shut down HARP. Conspiracy theories are abuzz about this news, given that HARP, short for high frequency. What is your drama? What is wrong? Are you okay? You squawk box and I go to pick you up and you freak out. You good? Y'all see this shit? Anyway, you just cool it just a little bit, homie. Every time I go, fine, come here. Okay, now shush. This bitch. Conspiracy theories are buzz about the news, given that HARP, short for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, has long been the center of wild speculation. The program is designed to control the weather, or worse. In 2010, Venezuelan leader I think it's supposed to be Hugo Chavez, claimed that HARP or a program like it triggered the Haiti earthquake. Now, the Haiti earthquake was devastating.
Yes.
And there's actually been several natural disasters that have occurred while HARP was active, you can actually track when HARP was turned on and off, and lots of natural disasters, hurricanes, earthquakes, typhoons, things to that effect.
Well, I know
A lot.
specifically they think a lot of people think that like Hurricane Katrina was caused by
Hurricane Katrina, the Haiti earthquake, that one massive one that hit Japan several years
the
ago. Do you know what I'm
tsunami.
talking about? Which again, Japan's an ally. That would kill it killed so many Japanese. Hurricane Katrina is our own people, but that the government hasn't stopped them before. I mean, what was that operation under JFK where they wanted to start a false flag by killing American civilians, and JFK shut that shit down? Blanking on the name of it.
Me too. It'll come to me. Hold on.
Not Bay of Pigs. Operation Northwoods. Is that what it was? Either way, y'all know what I'm talking about. The point is, the American government rarely, or at least the military-industrial complex, I should say, don't give a fuck about killing either our allies or even our own people if it means progress in whatever their agenda is. So yeah, when Hugo Chavez claims that HARP or a program like it triggered the Haiti earthquake, I'm inclined to believe it. By the way, Hugo Chavez, not the first person to bring this up. Somebody else did all the way back in 2002. Do you want to take a wild guess as to who?
I'm gonna go with, let's see, 2002. I got nothing.
I'll give you a couple of hints. World leader. A lot of folk don't like him.
Couldn't have been Saddam Hussein.
Nope.
Okay.
But similar vein.
Kim Jong-il.
Nope, but again, similar vein. You're getting close. I'll give you one third and final guess. We actively don't like him right now as well.
Oh, Vladimir Putin.
Bingo, bango, bongo. Yes, all the way back in 2002, Putin gave a speech stating that he was worried about governments creating geological weapons to control the weather. He was specifically talking about HARP. He didn't say it, but everybody knows he is worried about foreign governments creating weather manipulating weapons. And then after giving this speech, both Russia and China begin developing their own HARP-esque research facilities.
That should tell you all you need to know,
Look, I ain't exactly, a Putin sympathizer, nothing like that. However, if he says, yo, America's creating weather manipulating weapons, and then Russia and China also start doing it, HARP is a weather manipulating fucking weapon. I don't give a shit what the government says. You can say, oh, it's a research facility, bitch. If Russia's afraid of it, and if Russia and China trying to duplicate it, that's a fucking weapon.
Yeah. Okay. I've seen pictures of this man riding a bear. Okay, like not much. I don't think a lot surprises Vladimir Putin. So like,
nor scares or worries him. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So, that's good to know. So yes, it's not just about controlling the weather. They can also generate low frequency radio waves that would penetrate below the surface of the earth, which is what we're talking about with the earthquake here. For the record, the Haitian quake of 2010.
Before you scroll down, I do have to say this. Monica Lewinsky's looking pretty good.
Yeah, she's aging decently well. I agree.
Yeah, good for her.
For the record, Haitian quake of 2010 was caused by the slippage of a previously unmapped fault along the border of the Caribbean and North American tectonic plates. Sure, that can be what technically caused the earthquake, by all means. But what potentially caused the slippage? Yo, I'm Anderson Swaglord. How you doing, homie? Truly appreciate you, brother. But what do you think? I mean, this could have occurred naturally. By all means, absolutely. Earthquake's been happening since the dawn of time. I mean, it's posited that Pangea was broken up by a supermassive worldwide earthquake. I mean, it also could have been a bunch of other stuff. Impact theory. We don't know. But the point is, it very well could have been a fact that HARP did cause the slippage, and then that in turn, that slippage caused the earthquake, especially since HARP was turned on at the time of the slippage. I believe there was like a 10-minute time differential.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'm like you. I don't know how effective radio frequencies, low wave radio frequencies being buried down into the Earth's crust could affect stuff like that. I'm not a geologist. I'm not a physicist, so I'm not smart enough to know. But I don't think it's impossible. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I guess you put something in the right place, or there are smarter people who could figure that out, but it just seems like you would need a tremendous amount of firepower to cause a tectonic shift.
well, so I don't necessarily know that it was a tectonic shift so much so as maybe there was already a weak point in the plating, and so they actually didn't need a huge amount of firepower. If think of like a boss battle in a video game, like the glowing red dot. Sure, the rest of the boss might be effectively impenetrable, but you shoot the arrow at the glowing red dot, that's the weak spot. So if they found a weak spot in the
That's true.
in the plate, it would take far less energy. Maybe, not entirely sure. Resonance frequency in the ionosphere. Well, so and I could be wrong. Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but this isn't this portion of HARP actually isn't about the ionosphere. This is about going below the Earth as opposed to going high. So HARP can do both, from what I'm understanding. Hey, Leon, something to think about. The earthquake caused the tsunami that hit Japan. Yeah, that's what I was saying. When I said the Japanese, I said Japanese hurricane. I meant Japanese tsunami. And yeah, that's so HARP was also active right before that. Seems like all the parts are there, even if we don't understand the mechanics of how they fit together. Leon, bingo, bango, bongo. They have my thoughts exactly. All the parts are there. And look, I don't know how a fucking clock works. I know there's gears and shit. I couldn't build one, but by God, I understand. I can tell time. I know the function. It clearly I have enough understanding of a clock to be like, these gears turn, makes hand turn, time tell. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't need to be an expert. Japan's in the Ring of Fire, active tectonic movement there. Yeah, so is California. Can't wait for that shit to happen. HARP research program is designed to analyze the ionosphere, a portion of the upper atmosphere. We know what it's designed for. We talked about this already. The U.S. military is interested in the ionosphere because this portion of the atmosphere plays a role in transmitting radio signals. HARP sends radio beams in the ionosphere to study responses from it, one of the few ways to accurately measure its inaccessible part of the atmosphere. HARP operates way out of the HARP research station in Gakona, Alaska, where it's a high-power radio frequency transmitter. And yeah, we've covered that as well. Now, this is what the official goal of HARP is. Goal of the program is to understand the physics of the ionosphere, which is constantly responding to influence from the sun. Solar flares can send solar particles racing towards Earth, occasionally disrupting communications on the electrical grid. If scientists could better understand what happens in the ionosphere, they might be able to mitigate some of these problems. I could be wrong. I don't know. But have we uncovered any new public-facing technological advancements because of HARP? We learned something so amazing, now cell phones work better. Maybe, I don't know, but I can't see this being anything other than a weapon without knowing what they did, or something with military application, not necessarily a weapon, but military application, if it hasn't done something for just the regular man, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe that's how we got 5G.
DARPA would never. Oh, I thought you said DARPA would never lie to us. Yes, DARPA would never tell us. CERN. Oh, dude, CERN is also terrifying. We'll be talking about CERN when we do the Mandela Effect episode with Hayden Wayne. So that'll be coming out sometime in the near future. But the Air Force is no longer. Disrupting communication, electrical grid. Okay, but the Air Force is no longer interested in maintaining HARP, according to David Walker, the Air Force Deputy Assistant Secretary for Science, Technology, and Engineering. A Senate hearing on May 14th, Walker said the Air Force has no interest in maintaining the site, is moving in another direction in ionic research. Politics and conspiracy. While the Air Force neither wants nor appreciates the unique value of HARP, users from several federal agencies, laboratories, and universities at friendly nations such as Canada, Britain, Taiwan. So you know this was written in 2014. They considered Taiwan a different country. South Korea, Sweden, and Norway are eager to use its unique resources, which further spread the American influence and leadership. Dennis Papadopoulos, a professor of physics and astronomy from the University of Maryland, wrote an opinion piece in Alaska Dispatch. Now, here's where we're going to get into some crazy conspiratorial stuff that, in my opinion, is conspiracy fact, not theory. We got this right here. So if you Google weather as a force multiplier, owning the weather in 2025. Now, that just seems like a mishmash of words. However, this is a paper. This is a paper that was published by the military. Now, I know it seems like, oh, it's bullshit fact checking or using a Google AI generated answer. Just wait. Just wait. In the context of weather as a force multiplier, owning the weather in 2025, the idea is that by 2025, U.S. aerospace forces could leverage emerging technologies to shape the battle space through weather modification, offering tools for impact operations across the full spectrum of conflict. Here's a more detailed breakdown. So, before we get to that, this is literally a paper by the U.S. government that says by 2025, we want to make weather weapons. Like, they just flat out say it. We want to make weather weapons. Oh, I see someone said Janice Landers is in the chat. Janice Island. Oh, there you are. I'm 73. Nothing surprises me anymore. Base. You love to see it. What up, Janice? Thank you so much. I can't even imagine, Janice. I live half as long, and I would. And the world's dramatically different in just that short span. Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. Camera glitch, Leon. They after you. Whoa, wait, there's a camera glitch on our end.
I didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything either. Yeah, dude, Hondo going off today. Yeah, I didn't notice a camera glitch. So, that's interesting. Some studies suggest the ionosphere anomalies could be potential precursors to earthquakes. Yes, I've heard that as well. It could be cloudy with a chance of meatballs. One can only hope. So here's a more detailed breakdown. The authors argue that by focusing on developing technologies for weather modification, the military can gain a strategic advantage by owning the weather. This would allow them to manipulate weather patterns to their benefit, potentially hindering enemy operations or enhancing their own. Potential applications. This could involve a range of capabilities, from manipulating weather to disrupt enemy communications or logistics, creating weather conditions that favor certain military operations, and emerging technologies. The authors suggest the key to achieving this weather leverage lies in capitalizing on emerging technologies and focusing their weapon development towards war-fighting applications.
There's got to be some crossover between this and Bluebeam too, right? Where
oh, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I mean, they're gonna need the satellites to beam all that shit down. I can't wait till we cover Bluebeam. That's gonna be a big fucking episode. I'll probably be prepping that one for like a week. Usually I just do it day of, but that's gonna be like a week's worth of prep.
Yeah, no, that one's gonna take forever. Which I'm totally down.
What?
Oh, which I'm totally down to do all the research that we need to do, because that's a big one. But yeah, it would seem pretty likely that if you were going to do something like Bluebeam, you might want to have like weather control figured out.
It can't be cloudy on that day. If you're beaming down, laser generated versions of like what God is to try and convince the masses. It can't be a cloudy day,
Yes.
High risk, high reward. The authors acknowledge that weather modification is a high risk, high reward endeavor, comparing it to the splitting of an atom. Past examples. Oh, I wonder if this is going to talk about Operation Popeye, which Sammy brought up earlier. The U.S. military has a history of using weather modification for military purposes. For example, Operation Popeye, a program that involved cloud seeding in Vietnam in the 1960s, aimed to extend the monsoon season to disrupt Ho Chi Minh Trail. And current military interests. The U.S. military has shown interest in using weather-related technologies for various purposes, including disaster response and intelligence gathering. Now, the reason I bring all this up, because this paper, Weather as a Force Multiplier, Owning Weather in 2025, is real and accessible right here on the internet. No, this is not some sort of fake weirdo site. We're on apps.dtic.mil, DTIC, and for those of you that can't see it, we'll scroll in, an official website of the United States government. Weather as a Force Multiplier, Owning the Weather in 2025, miscellaneous citation, accession number ADA 33462. You can open the entire PDF and go through it. 53 pages about how to own the weather. Required capability, system description, concept of operations, precipitation, fog, storms, exploitation of near space for space control, opportunities afforded by space weather modification, communications dominance via ionospheric modification, artificial weather, concept of operation summary. How do we get there? Why is the ionosphere important? It goes on and fucking on. So, yeah, like this is right here. How can anyone at this point, how can anyone claim that HARP being a weapon is a conspiracy theory? The fucking documentation from the military is accessible online.
Like I said, they'll try and bury anything. You know, it's incredible, but
Krovac says Storm is classified as an Omega level mutant for a reason.
very true.
When you
very
put it
true.
like that, like that's true. Also, Cinevere Stalker coming in within 5 words of paradise, giving the memberships. Thank you so much. You didn't need you, but you did. It means the absolute world to me. Let's go ahead and give you this.
Y'all
one.
can clip me all you want. I think Alyssa Mercante has a nice ass, but I guarantee you she doesn't shave her armpits. So I'm good.
Cinevere Stalker for a 10 banger says April Fools, I demand a refund. Well, funnily enough, I don't know how many people do this because people actually legitimately asked me for a refund before. That's not something creators can do. Like this is why I'm not I'm saying you're serious or anything. I just think it's a fun little bit of knowledge. That's not something creators can actually do. I didn't realize this, but yeah, YouTube when you send super chats and whatnot, it actually doesn't go directly to us. It goes to YouTube first, then YouTube later gives us the cut. So there's literally nothing to my knowledge that creators can do in terms of refunds and whatnot. That all has to be done through YouTube. So yeah, that was a fun little learning experience that I had, about a year or so ago. But nah, man, I do truly appreciate the additional 10 banger. Thank you so much. We gotta get you this little extra clip right here. And you know what? Let's see if Zach's still there. All right, let's catch up on some of these comments. Popeye, you would think it'd be about spinach and a buff sailor. Got him. Good one. Wait, Jake Martin. Getting control of the world's supply of oil. All right, Earthquake 2012. Sorry, seems like all the parts. Oh shit, I scrolled up way too far. That was a mistake. Here we go. I love talking Blue Beam. Makes me think of my dad. He was heavy into it. Oh, fucking nice. That's awesome. Nice. You ever hear the heart attack gun? Yes, I have heard of the heart attack gun. I don't know much about it, but have heard of it. Yes. Changes in the atmosphere pressure due to space weather effects might contribute to stress accumulation in the Earth's lithosphere. Interesting. I don't know enough about that, but I'll have to take your word for it. Yeah, 35 likes. Get those likes up. We got 129 people watching across all platforms. So thank you so much to all y'all. CIA used to carry out some assassinations. That's legit. Apparently, press conference and everything. Do they? Oh, I'm here. Green jelly. I think it's so creepy as fuck. Green jelly, hell yeah. I'm gonna throw a tornado. Yeah, we're gonna throw tornadoes at motherfuckers. What of it? Going to Goon. All right, gang. Well, I appreciate that. For those of you that are going to Goon, for those of you that are not going to Goon, stick around. We're gonna be wrapping this up soon, but there's more to talk about. And of course, we're gonna raid Nadia because Nadia deserves all the love and support. Special now. Oh yeah. So yes. Again, chat, I ask you, is there anybody in the chat? And if you disagree, that's fine. We want, again, this is being a skeptic is good, having the dialogue, the discussion is good. But after knowing and seeing this, after just being aware that the technical data is right here, just available, December 29th of 97, is there anybody at all that doubts that HARP is a weapon? If you do, by all means, let me know. But I am fully convinced. Now, what capabilities it has,
that's what I was going to say. The extent is what I'm skeptic of.
Right. Like, can they create these massive 5 yield 5 or whatever they're called, hurricanes or anything? I don't know. But I think we can objectively say, yes, this is a weapon.
Yep.
Yeah. Leonard says, nope. Yeah, Zach says, gotta be. I mean, I am 100% convinced. This isn't like, the Men in Black or the, what was some, like the Mothman, where it's like, okay, this, I don't know. I want to believe the whole 9. To me, this is it. This was the nail in the coffin. Do I have any additional information? Yeah, we talked about how Air Force, Navy, and DARPA invested in it. The Freedom of Information Act requests are being denied. Right. Okay. The mind control part. We talked about that a little bit. The human mind is susceptible to certain radio, frequencies and whatnot. So, like we were talking about, you could do mood alteration and things to that effect. But this is the one thing that I don't know. it probably can't be used on like populated areas or whatnot. In theory, it can, but DARPA does, or not DARPA, HARP can't generate that amount of power. HARP is too small to generate the massive frequencies that would be needed to hit large swaths of area of individuals and affect all their moods and do massive mind control things to that effect. But in theory, the science is real. It does work out. Plus, this is in Alaska, which is already sparsely populated. So it's science fact that it's possible, but I don't think it's happening, at least not with HARP. Again, I gotta believe that they can do it. They will do it. I think they send planes to hurricanes to get measurements. They're still cloud seeding it. Major, never heard of him. 2 black sisters who were the ones still living. Trump supporters down. Diamond. Oh, yeah. I forgot that Diamond died. Categories for her. Thank you. Yeah, categories. Cat 5, things like that. Cat 5. I appreciate you. I couldn't remember the term. Zach says, or at least that was the plan. Yeah, and even if it's not HARP, there's other facilities. There's got to be other facilities, maybe secret ones. Maybe they got some research facility built in the fucking Rocky Mountains or whatever. Did you know the vast majority of the Grand Canyon is off limits? It is a federal crime. It is patrolled, and you will get immediately thrown in fucking prison for trekking through the Grand Canyon.
Really?
It's because, and this is gonna blow your mind. We may have to do an episode on this sometime. An archaeologist, or it may have just been an explorer, not even necessarily an archaeologist, found a carved out area of the Grand Canyon that when he went inside, there was basically a city built into the rocks and whatnot that had Egyptian hieroglyphs in it.
Oh, okay.
Government immediately seized the area. It's been off limits ever since. So yeah, that might be a fun one. Myth, plausible, brown note. I'm not sure what that is.
The brown note is a frequency that makes people lose bowel control.
Is that a real thing?
It was experimented with. There was also a big. There was a South Park episode about it as well, but if it's proven to be real or not, I have no idea. But I know I believe the French were experimenting with it in World War II.
How about that? I had no idea. It's been proven false several times in Paris, already Grand Canyon. Has it been proven false though, or is that again if that area? Because it is off limits. That's 100% true. Why would the government make parts of the Grand Canyon off limits? I don't believe anything is proven false if it comes from the government. I'm sorry. They've already been showing they're willing to kill their own people or give black dudes syphilis and things like that. You awake, Sammy?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm just trying to think of what I was going to say for the Grand Canyon. So there could be some legit safety reasons why they, put it off. It was like there's a lot of you read about it every single year. There's always that one idiot who goes cave diving by himself or
right.
Stuff. But I don't know if they have what would be probably the most significant find in American or in human history. If they're sitting on that, then that's definitely something I want to talk about.
Yeah, Waco's saying it's a hoax. I'll definitely have to look more into it because it very well might be, and that's why we do the research on these sorts of things prior. Because I don't know much about it. I just know that portions of the Grand Canyon are off limits, and you will literally get prison time for going there. So to me, that sounds cover up ish. However, yes, it very well could be a hoax, and that would make for a good episode if it is. Government block it off, claims there's nothing there. The media joins them, says something's there. Stench bomb did prove effective on the battlefront though until winds turned. God damn it. Yeah, that being said, I think that about tracks and runs the course. Want to do our wrap up?
Yeah, sounds good. I'm just looking at on the Wikipedia page. So HARP shows up in popular culture, but I own this game and I don't remember. The HARP facility appears in the 2004 game X-Men Legends.
Does it really?
Yeah, so it's in the game. The X-Men track the Brotherhood of Mutants to HARP. The facility is significantly different from its real life counterpart, with the snowy valleys around it, ice tunnels. The X-Men eventually locate the Brotherhood, learn sensitive information. One thing I did know, it shows up in Project Zomboid, which I've been meaning to play forever now.
I've never even heard of Project Zomboid.
Oh, we're gonna talk after the.
Oh, okay,
show,
by all
bud.
means. But yeah, I guess in closing, when it comes to HARP, I will say, like, first of all, this isn't just an American thing. Like HARP is American by all means. But again, these exist all over the world. They're confirmed in China, Russia, United Arab Emirates, U.S., and there's other countries as well. There's at least like 16 of these facilities that have been confirmed the world over from all these different world governments. This is effectively an arms race. Like it's not being done with like guns or going to space or whatnot. But this is an arms race that nobody talks about, and I do not think, beyond a shadow, I think this might be the most true thing we have ever covered on the show up to this point. I would be willing to stake my life on the fact that HARP at least was attempting to be, if not was attempting to be a weapon, and that this research in some form or fashion is still going on.
Oh yeah, and not still going on. This has been something that we've been experimenting with since like the 7 Years' War or like the Civil War, the Napoleonic Wars. There were like theories posed that it would rain more because of all the gunpowder and the heat from the explosions, that it would rain longer. This is something that was posed by veterans, in the 19th century. So this is something that we've been experimenting with for quite some time.
Hey, stop drinking my tea. This ain't a scene. It's a goddamn arms race. And yeah, I do at times wonder if at some point tinfoil haters what gets me shut down. Like, it doesn't matter how much I say faggot on Neon Leon. My channel's never been struck or nothing. But someday we're gonna hit someone on TFH and be like, well, there goes my income.
No, I'm more worried that all of a sudden they're going to be like, Sammy, there's someone walking behind you, and then like a Mossad agent.
Yeah,
like,
dude. Like, oh, hey, let's go to the Vegas meetup, and for whatever reason,
Oh,
he decided
no.
he hung himself in his hotel. Like, he was hanging out with all of his YouTube buddies. It was such a good time. Never saw it coming. Guess he wanted to make a public suicide. Like,
he shot himself in the back of the head 3 times. How unfortunate for him.
But yeah, no. And with that, I think we're gonna wrap. Guys, let me set up the transition to Nadia's show, and in the interim, Sammy, why don't you tell people who you are and what you do?
I'm Sammy 3P. You can find me on Twitter at Sammy 3P. I also have a YouTube channel if you'd like to hop on over there and give me a follow. I every Saturday I have a Batman show called Cavecast. That's where we take an academic approach to the world and the lore of Batman, and you guys have been very receptive of that. I appreciate it. And if you like that, maybe stick around. On Sunday I have a new show called Another News with Sammy 3Pete, and that's where I bring on a bunch of different nerds, and we don't talk about anything in the culture war. We talk about stupid things that have happened around the planet within that week, and you could stop by and be a friend of the channel, and I would appreciate it greatly. Otherwise, I'm back here every Tuesday with Leon, and on Thursdays you can catch me on Roman of the Empire show, or whatever disgusting Geneva Code or Geneva Convention violating things he's going to have me review for his own fucking sick enjoyment.
Also, I feel like we should make a quick announcement for those that are still watching. Yeah, hopefully y'all haven't left yet. Next week's episode has already been decided upon. In fact, Justin Channels, if you guys saw last week's episode about the that new archaeological find beneath the pyramids, there was a commenter, a viewer in the chat, Justin Channels, who was instrumental in that episode being a success. He was so well informed. He guided us along in such an amazing fashion. He then emailed me afterward telling me about how the tomb of Gilgamesh had supposedly been uncovered days before the invasion of Iraq Afterwards, it has been either sealed off or not talked about or whatever since. However, on the private Hillary Clinton email servers, they all got busted up and whatnot prior to Trump's win. There were emails requesting this information and talking about the found tomb of Gilgamesh. So, Justin Channels is going to be coming on next week as the guest to talk about all that and more. I've never heard of this. This is going to be completely blind for both me and I believe Sammy. But according to Justin, he has got the information to back it up. He's putting together the resources. So mark your calendars because TFH next week is going to be biblical and pre-biblical, and it's going to have fucking Clinton tie-ins. It's going to be fucking insane. However, there will be no tinfoil haters the week after that. Why is that, Sammy?
Because we going to Vegas, baby.
Vegas, baby. Ooh, plane will be touching down about an hour before the show would start. So no TFH the week of the Vegas meetup. In fact, I don't know what streams we will be doing. Countercast will still happen because that's the day before we leave. But I don't know what the streaming schedule will look like in 2 weeks for Vegas. So yes, next week, Gilgamesh, Justin Channels, the Clintons. It's gonna be fucking wild. Now, that being said, everybody, we're going to go raid Nadia. Make sure to hop in there. Say Vital Idol Raid. And I just want to give a big thank you to those that donated memberships. It truly helps sustain the channel. We got to get April off to a strong start because we're going to be missing out on a week of content. That's going to hurt a motherfucker. I'm going to be real. But beyond that, if you couldn't or are unable to or just don't want to, that's fine. The conversation in the chat is still why we do this. It's such a great, fun show. And I will see you for other various streams and videos as the week goes on. So until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. And this has been Words of Paradise, Vital Idol.